So this is a nonfiction going solar in China. I'm probably going to skim read it. In the Anhui province of China, 166,000 floating solar panels are strung together atop the rippling surface of a lake. It is the largest solar power farm in the world, an immense blanket of renewable energy strong enough to power 15,000 homes. The floating solar power farm, which harvests the sun rays for power, was first conceived by the Sungrow Power Supply Company after heavy rains collapsed a coal mine and created a lake. Sang Daji, a former coal miner in the area, is now an electrician for the farm, which occupies the original mine site. Now, instead of working under dangerous conditions, he feels safe, and the new energy is safe. And solar, on the other hand, is clean and safe for the environment. Solar panels are typically placed on rooftops or open fields, but experts in China determined that a newly formed lake was a great spot for a solar power farm. Solar power farms over water are efficient because the water keeps the panels cool. A water-based solar power farm can potentially generate more power than one based on land. Additionally, another point or benefit, with a solar power farm on the lake, the land in the surrounding area remains unavailable or available for farming. Originally, China displayed minimal interest in the solar energy. The use of solar energy was limited to primarily rural areas. Without access to other means of electricity, people in these areas use solar panel. China began to manufacture panels in the 1990s, when the German government offered its people financial incentives to go solar. The heightened demand was instantaneous, and Chinese businesses were quick to seize the opportunity. Soon, governments of Spain and Italy offered incentives for using solar, and Chinese manufacturers were ready for the increased demand. Between 2008 and 2013, China improved its manufacturing process so much that it lowered the worldwide cost of solar energy by 80%. However, contrasting, a point came when Chinese manufacturers became so efficient at producing solar equipment, they outpaced the demand. The manufacturers were producing 2 solar panels for every one they sold. They overproduced. In order to make manufacturing a profitable industry again, they offered their own financial incentives to Chinese citizens. Now, projects like the floating solar panel farm are putting those surplus panels to use, in addition to providing jobs and other energy. A second solar power farm has already been constructed near the massive one in Anhui as part of a government initiative. The goal is to meet 20% of the country's energy needs with renewable clean energy by the year 2030. So that's the end. How is this passage structured? It introduces the solar power farm, Anhui. It's the largest in the world. Only 15,000 homes. That's pretty small, actually, compared to hundreds of thousands for other gas plants and nuclear plants. Anyway, the solar power farm's second paragraph essentially says it was built on top of a lake that was created when a coal mine collapsed, and we highlight a particular worker there who went from in kind of a worker down below the mine where it was unsafe to working at the solar power facility, which he felt safe and he's somewhat happy about. Paragraph 3 talks about that normally the panels are on houses and rooftops and things like that. But this is unusual setup because it's on the water, which is actually really good because the positives are the water keeps the panels cool and it frees up land for farming. At first, though, it looks like paragraph 4, China did not take interest, but when Germany offered incentives, they began manufacturing, and then there were a whole lot of countries that manufactured or offered incentives, and their manufacturing kind of took off. And then in ensuing years, 2008 to 13, they actually reduced costs dramatically, and they actually, as a result, overproduced. And then they began to offer their own incentives in China and build their own solar power farms to take up that extra production. And the last paragraph is they have longer term goals for what the country's production will be over time. Okay, so I think we have a good idea of the progression of ideas from paragraph to paragraph. The main topic is this huge solar power farm, which has reduced global costs, and that's what's interesting about it. And it's expanded kind of clean energy, offered more jobs, and has been beneficial to China and improved the plans for the future. And the point of view of this essay, it's really kind of a third-person informative essay, with that, let's go ahead and answer the questions. I think we're ready.